And welcome to episode number 17, Renee Bork number episode of the Flame and Talk podcast. I'm Noah Adler, and to my right is the one and only Mr. Connor Dolan. What's going on, buddy?
I'm just eating.
This might be an episode of him just eating chicken nuggets and fries, guys.
Yeah.
Well, besides besides you enjoying your food, how's your week been, my friend?
Well, it's been all right. Getting back to work and whatnot. It's getting used to getting up and trying to sleep at a decent time. Yeah, it's been. Right. It's just I just have to get used to everything and whatnot.
That's good. That's good to hear. So obviously we're recording, I want to say approximately an hour and a half before puck drop between the Flames and the Coyotes at Mullet Arena in Arizona. One of the lowest ranked attendance in the entire league, by the way, for folks who may not be, who don't really follow the Arizona Coyotes very often, and they're wondering where the hell they're playing exactly. They're playing at maybe one of the lowest ranked arenas in the league, but I won't lie, it looks a lot of fun. But the Flames are coming off a win on, I want to say, Tuesday night over the Ottawa Senators by a 6-3 score. Like, what did you really like and see from that game in particular?
I'll be honest. Ooh. I'm going to be completely honest. I was at that game
right
for the first two periods. And when after the first two periods, that's when apparently they started to pick it up, because by the time I had to go to a doctor's appointment. So from what I could see from the first two periods, we played like we usually play. We we have some really shitty defensive giveaways and neutral zone giveaways. And that led to goals. And then we decided to just kind of lay back and whatnot in our defensive zone. And at the end of the first, it resulted in a goal against us that was, very easily avoidable. But you know what? It's the Flames. What else do you expect?
Expect anything more? I really don't expect anything less from this team that I would say we love and we hate. But I really want to get down. By the way, folks, I think we're going to make this a very short episode. We're not going to make it too long here, because there's not really much to cover in terms of, a lot of stuff. I mean, they're playing in a little bit here, so. But I do want to bring up a conversation though with you that happened with the GM at the Calgary Flames and Don Malone. And by the way, the Don Malone stuff we will get to in a little bit here, and I have a lot of things to say about that.
Yeah,
and I imagine you do as well. But I really want to start with what Connie said with Eric Duhatschek of the Athletic this past. I want to say, I don't know if it was before Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. And this was just coming up the Maloney stuff. So this doesn't make it look better either. The Maloney thing, it makes the Maloney stuff look even worse in hindsight. But and I know there's a lot of people who are saying, well, you guys shouldn't, take what they say for granted. It's like, okay, but anyway, we'll by the way, I got the win columns article up about it, so we'll have the quote series. We don't have to go through the entire article. So the Hatchick asks him the question about rebuilding, right? And I'm going to read you this, and this is the exact quote. I know some people believe in the full rebuild. Personally, I feel you want to be competitive and you want your team to win. So there's a balance between short-term and long-term. You don't know what you're going to get for certain assets that you have or what's to come. or maybe somebody excuse me, sorry, or maybe somebody here wants to resign with you. All those things are still out there. So you're looking at your team, who's going to be your top line, what positions are filled, who's coming in the system 3 years down the road. How is this team going to look? And I'll bring up I'm looking for another comment here. And then message management. You'd rather not have that rumors bracket because it fuels the fire. But in the end, I still believe that you can't let assets walk out the door. The hard part is, if we were first in the West, it might be harder to do. But my mindset has always been we have to make sure we have assets coming back. And it, the thing that and we'll include the Maloney stuff in this too, right? It seems as if from that interview that he did with the Hatchick in the article and the Maloney stuff, it feels like they have no plan at all. It really feels from the translation in both the article and in the Maloney interview with Ryan Leslie. And by the way, you probably watched that clip with Maloney and Leslie, right?
Kinda, yeah. No, I'm mostly just. Actually, no, I didn't really listen because I was grabbing I was gonna grab like a knife or something like that, but no, I grabbed some cologne instead to wipe away the stink off my screen. I didn't really listen at all.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. But I want to know what you came away from from what I just read about the quotes in the article and what you saw from the Maloney interview. It doesn't feel like they have a plan, do they?
No, and they might as well flip a fucking coin at this point, because if they're not having a plan, then do something.
If it's a real concern. Like, it's a real concern. So I don't mean to cut you off, by the way, but it's a real concern to listen, and to read those quotes and say you have confidence that they are going to sell these assets off. Because it feels as if they're going it by a day-to-day, month-to-month basis. That they're not. That it feels like they keep flip-flopping over and over again, especially with the Hannafin news on Saturday, and then the Maloney interview on Sunday, then the Conroy thing on Tuesday. This doesn't give the fan base hope that things are going to happen at the deadline.
You know, yeah, and when you say that, the day-to-day, month-to-month, by the time they say day-to-day, and by the time they go flip and flop and whatnot, it'll suddenly be the trade deadline, and then they'll actually have to do something. And they've been so blinded by, oh, what if, and oh, this could, or that, they will make really brash, either really brash decisions, or they won't make one at all. And it will completely screw the team over for maybe a couple more years to come. That, or they let off a couple of UFAs go, and then they have really, like, what are they going to do, right? Like, are they going to let Coronado up, or like, are they going to let go? Because by the time it's the off season, then you're like, okay, well, we should have done something with this guy by March. We should have done something with this guy by March. And then you're going to have to ask the question about, now our UFAs, do we keep them, or do we just bring up our younger guys? Which personally, I hope they do, but it should have been something that should have been dealt with a long time ago. So if we wanted to get our young guys up into the NHL, they had some time to improve. Even if our season was already screwed, at least they had some time to improve, to show about what their skills are, where they can work, where they can manage, what this, that, like with no plan comes no action. And no action means no direction. And no direction means a complete free fall. So.
Yeah. No, and honestly, man, like I've said it all along. Like, I've 100% been saying this all along when it comes to the conversation in regards to what the Flames are going to do at the trade deadline and with all these UFAs. we said it last week on the show. We talked about it with James last week on the show. Is I'll believe when I see it, guys, because can you realistically trust this ownership group the closer they are in a playoff spot to say, yes, we will give you the green light on that? Because the reality of the situation is, are they really going to give the green light if this team's that close in the playoff spot? Like, let's be realistic with that. Like, will they really give the green light to say, yes, sell off all these assets? Which is what I've said to people all along is as much as I want to believe that this team at some point will tear down and rebuild to the studs, they will never do that.
No.
Let's be very, very clear. They will never do that.
Hold on. I just want to. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just really quickly, I just literally saw, like, while I was watching some Top Gear on YouTube.
Yeah.
The Sportsnet article came on my notifications, and it said Flames mid-season report stuck in mushy middle, changes sure to come. You know what they could have just said? Is just said Flames mid-season report stuck in mushy middle. I just end it there, because you don't know if changes are going to come. You definitely know that there's going to be something. The only change that might happen is maybe a change to the equipment manager or something like that. That's it.
Right.
Something not really too important on the team. That's what they're going to change at most.
Yeah, I could see knowing this organization, man. I mean, nothing's gonna, whatever happens at the trade deadline, man, like nothing's really gonna surprise me. Like, not relatively. Like, things will not shock me whatsoever. Like, we're gonna have a guest on next week, by the way, to talk more about stuff like trade deadline assets and all that stuff. And I put out the tweet the other night about it. But I feel as if it's time for the Flames to be looking at possibly trading Blake Coleman. The guy is on pace for 35 goals, and this guy's being paid what, like almost $5 million, something like that. He's being paid close to $5 million for a bottom six guy, and he's on a 35 goal. Like, if there's any point in time where you take advantage of a guy's value, you do that right now, or between now and the deadline.
What is,
like, if you want to talk about asset management, that's a perfect situation.
Yeah, and it's actually, I think I commented on that post. It's just saying, look at your guys who are on a search right now. If these guys are on lists that you want to move, or who are going to be UFAs, or that you can see have some serious trade value for a good return,
right?
Fucking go do it. Go ahead and move these guys. If they're on a surge right now, say, hey, listen, Coleman, Kadri, Markstrom, these guys are absolutely tearing up the NHL. Guess what does this say? Markstrom had the most goals saved, most goals saved average above saved average, something like that. In the NHL, and which was incredible for a guy like Jacob Markstrom, where last year he was struggling to keep a starting position. So, like, get something going. Start talking. At least start having some kind of discussion among yourselves. Don't even go to teams yet, but have some discussion rather than just wait and say, oh, guys decide their own fate and we're not too sure because we don't know, and we're like, you're playing scared. That's what you are. You're playing scared.
And that way, and what you just pointed out, and the exact quote you just said from the Maloney interview is the problem, and is the part of the issue is that you're saying stuff like that doesn't give the fan base confidence that you're going to do the right thing when it's all said and done.
No.
And I just have that feeling, man. I have this feeling that the closer they are in the playoff spot, the likelier it is they're not going to trade those guys.
I don't know. I don't know. if if we win today, then oh geez, hold on. Let me check the standings again, because I don't know. I haven't checked recently about where Arizona is for the standings. So
Sure.
right now, if we were to win, we would be tied with the Oilers and the Kraken for a second wildcard spot. So Oilers have a second wildcard spot right now. We would be tied with points. I don't know if we would be still up there because they're 5 games behind us, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Oilers basically have So but we would be tied for points
The
between
thing is,
Kraken.
Oilers have the games in hand.
Yeah. So if Coyotes win, they get the second wildcard spot, right, as of right now. If we win, we're tied with Oilers and Kraken. And this is going to be this is going to be the issue with this whole fucking team and this whole season. It's always going to be that, like you said, mushy middle. We're so close.
Yeah.
We're so close. Oh, look at that. You know what? Mm-hmm. No, we're going to keep these guys because these guys can do it. I know they can do it. And then they don't do it. And then they're like, well, we have them for 5 more years. We can improve them. And they're like, no, they're 30-year-old, like they're 30 plus years old, maybe mid 30s. You extended them for 5 to 8 years, and you're expecting them to just suddenly change their play style to improve. It's like, this is their prime was either 10 years ago or 5 to 10 years ago. So you're basically just hoping that the young guys that you did pick is able to basically carry them to relevancy in their career with how old they are, like Zari and Pospisil is with Kadri.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, right? Like, I don't know what again, as we've said definitely a few times already, is like we have no idea what this team's going to do with the deadline, and that's where the concern, I think, really pounds up for me. But I'll quickly do the ad read here for DraftKings, and then we'll talk about Shillington, and then we'll wrap up. So obviously, every episode of the Flaming Talk podcast as a part of the Hockey Podcast Network is presented by DraftKings. We know hockey games move fast, but with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsman partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now with code THPN. New customers bet just $5 in the NHL and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only in DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown's yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 ages plus varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. The NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. So we'll quickly talk about Oliver Shillington here, and then we'll start to wrap up this very short, quick edition of the Flaming Talk podcast, episode number 17. So Shillington makes his official hockey return tonight as the Wranglers play host to who do they play tonight again, Connor?
I would have to look at that. Hold on. Let me look at that just as quickly as possible, if I can.
But anyway, as I was pointing out, while Connor looks for the team who the Wranglers are playing tonight, Oliver Shillington makes his in-game return tonight to the ice for the first time in almost 20 months playing wise. This is really great story to see. And really good to see him back on the ice for the first time in playing action in almost 20 months here. What's your thoughts on Shillington coming back here, C?
It's good to see him back. It's good to
Yeah.
see him back. I hope that, I want to say, I hope he does well, speedy, and I want him back on the. But at the same time, I want him to also pace himself.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I can't imagine about what he was going through when he had to take 20 months off for personal issues. So I'm sure that's more than likely mental health and family stuff. So
Right.
I can't imagine. So I'm glad that he is back. I'm glad that he is playing. I honestly am. I hope that he does well. I hope that he shows some pretty good stuff today. But I just don't want anything. Well, first of all, I don't want him to get injured. But secondly, I just hope that he is able, to get back into the groove of things at his own pace, though, for sure. He's been, we've missed him for sure. we have missed him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm personally happy as well to see Oliver back playing hockey again. I mean, there's more important things than playing hockey. But at the same time, I think it's really great to see that, whatever possible mental issues he had off the ice and what was going on. I mean, glad to see that. Well, at least mostly it's like it's resolved. I mean, maybe things will never be resolved in certain ways, but at the same time, it's good to see that he's that it looks like he's in a good space mentally to come back and play some games and that kind of thing. So I assume he'll be back with the Flames pretty soon, I imagine, but he also hasn't played a game in almost 2 years. So it'll take still some time for him to get back up to game speed.
Yeah. By the way, they are playing the Ontario Reign.
Okay.
So
the LA Kings affiliate. The LA Kings affiliate, yeah.
So
and then one quick one, by the way, before we wrap up. Jacob Pelche, he's back skating. He's back skating now with the Calgary Wranglers as well. I mean, good to see, man. Like, good to see Shelley back, and then Peltz is on his way back too. Like, I mean, it's positive. I mean, listen, there are a lot of things that we give the Flames shit for when it comes to certain things, but what we'll say is that it's positive to hear things about Pelche and Oliver Shillington.
What I would love to happen is for at some point I assume Shillington will probably be back sooner than Pelche, but what I'd love to see is Pelche and Coronado be called back up at the same time. It
would be cool to see that.
Just to see, just see, all right, you know what, like, these guys have done well or something like that, or you know what, we're going to really see about what our young guns can do, because now they have Zari, Pospisil, they'd have Coronado and Pelche. So
that's literally the thing. That's literally the thing that people like me want to see. Yeah. And listen, as I go on and on and on about how this team should rebuild, tear down, all this other stuff, they're not going to do that. We all know that. There's an acceptance to this. But all we want to see is, like, okay, listen, get younger players up, get progression in there. Let's go here. Come on.
Yeah. There's been a couple guys that have been underperforming. We've seen it. We've seen Dubé.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, let's not
Dubé. I mean, Dewar hasn't really impressed me, frankly.
No, dude. He's
Dewar, Dewar. Who else? I'm just trying to think. I was going to say. I was about to say Martin Jones. I'm like, he's far away from the Hitmen.
Yeah. Like years apart from the Hitmen.
Who else can I think? I guess Majapani too.
Right.
Maj. I mean, again, he's had good games, but he's had also good moments, but had those moments. It hasn't been consistent again. So
right.
what give the young guys some more time up. The last time I remember Coronado got up, he had one game, and then they're like, all right, you're back down, and they haven't considered even calling him up again.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're not going to really give him that big of an opportunity he's not going to be really tested if he's not given an opportunity in the first place. So you got to do something. I want to see something. I want to be able to see our younger guys come up and just stun the shit out of fucking Don Maloney and John Bean, and especially that fucking Murray Edwards. I just want to see him just shit his pants because he's realized, guys his age, and especially in the NHL, are not always that good. And even though they may have veteran presence, you're not gonna, it's not. you might, your bones will probably start cracking by the time you start giving out also some elite advice, or your lungs will give out. I don't know.
Anyways. I'm very much. I mean, that's I feel the perfect way to wrap up this episode. Just like that. But anyway, just before we wrap up here, I'm pretty much in agreement. It's like, we know this team's not going to rebuild, but at the same time, if you get younger and bring up your younger guys, it's great. All you need then at that point is just that franchise piece.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
We have, we'll see. We have to think, we lack star. We have, honestly, the one thing I will say we do have really good of is depth. Yeah. Our depth is fantastic. There's not many games where we have two goal scorers, or our 2 goal games for many players. It's mostly 1 goal, and all of them are from 4 or 5 different players. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It's amazing what happens when you have. But if Huberdeau was an actual franchise player and was an actual elite player, then there it is, right? But unfortunately, Huberdeau hasn't been. So where do we? Maybe we look for Peltier could. Well, I'm not going to say that yet. But if Peltier ends up becoming a godsend, then guess what? There's maybe something there that we can consider. And then we're saying, you know what? Yeah, let's, I don't know. Hell. Huberdeau could be back to his former self if Peltier ends up being like a Barkov. Something.
Just before we're going to wrap it up in a second here, but just to quickly correct you on that Jonathan Huberdeau actually played with Anthony Duclair and Sam Bennett in his 115-point season. Just a thing to know.
Oh, gives a shit.
He didn't play with Alexander Barkov the year he scored 115 points.
I don't care, dude.
Which is even funnier in hindsight. But anyway,
give me something. Give me something like that. I want him back. I want the old Florida Huberdeau back.
Listen. If we do get, I don't think it's going to happen. To be realistic, I don't think it's going to happen. But if Huberdeau can get back to a 70-point range, I mean, listen, you'll take anything at this point. Because again, that contract's completely untradeable. You can't move that out whatsoever. You're basically fucked for the next 8 years. But anyway,
his 2024 has been good. I'll say that his
2024 so far has been good. But again, better. Let's not get our hopes up yet.
No, but it's been way better. That's
for sure.
If it's a moment of positivity, I will take it for at least Huberdeau, because it's the whole contract has been a shit show. So I'll take it. So anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap up on this episode of the Flamin' Talk podcast. By the way, folks, it is going to be an absolutely ridiculous cold weekend. So if you can stay inside, please, for the love of God, stay inside. Do not go outside whatsoever. It's going to be a disaster this weekend in the city of Calgary that we like to call home. And I'm only more longing for nicer weather to this point, but it's coming. It'll come pretty quickly. But yeah, that's going to do it for episode number 17 for myself, Noah Adler, and Connor Yolen. Stay warm, Calgary.